to the Press Y podcast. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and my name is Gunnar. Joining me today, of course, is Emerson.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey Epstein.
This week on the Press Y podcast, we're going to be covering some gaming news, as we do. Got some big stories this week.
Got some movie news, as we do.
What? Oh, yes, because we are also a movie.
We prepped this, Gunnar.
We are a movie podcast and a technology podcast as well
yes.
now. So this week we're going to talk about
everything except for Russia.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, so some controversy around Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Lots of updates on different games, some new sales numbers, especially regarding the Switch family and the PS4. And briefly discuss Luigi's Mansion and some other stuff.
Though I will say, really quick, this week we are not going to mention China because Xi Jinping sent us his paycheck. So we are now officially going to not mention China.
We are officially paid off. Actually, we should get sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. How cool would that be?
Or China.
Or China. Anyway,
send me a 20G.
But yeah, so be sure to like this video if you like it, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Send it to your friends if you have friends.
We know they have phones. Send it to their phone.
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter so you can know when I announce that we're doing the show late because we were super busy this past week. Anyway, let's move on into the news. Our first story this week is that Luigi's Mansion 3 launched this last week. Well, yeah, I guess it's Sunday. So Luigi's Mansion launched on Thursday. To some pretty good reviews overall. Got an 86 on Metacritic. Reviews are pretty positive. People were saying the game was pretty easy. There's a couple of puzzles that some reviewers were saying they got stuck on, but other than that, it's a fairly easy game. I've heard the combat is pretty tedious, and there's a lot of it too.
It is Luigi's Mansion.
But here's the thing: is like all the reviewers I've seen have emphasized how much there's a reliance on the new the
slam
mechanic.
You don't move during the slam; you move them around with a stick rather than yourself, so you're stationary during it.
Luigi's back throw from Smash.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm actually gonna pick up my copy tomorrow. I didn't have the chance this weekend
and he'll play it in a month or so once Ukulele finishes.
No, I'll probably start it now. God, I hate feeling like I'm trapped on a game. But it's like I get started on a new game, and like I've been playing through Ukulele and the Impossible Layer. It's really good. But then, like, me and Emerson will start playing Smash or something, and so then I end up just doing more of that.
That's where I am on Skyward Sword. I started that game 2 weeks ago and haven't played it since.
Yeah,
and I'm going to play Three Houses after I finish it, so it's like I need to finish Skyward Sword.
We should play Three Houses at the same time.
We should.
I still haven't played my copy.
Yeah.
That I bought in June. Was it June it came out, or July?
Yeah, I got mine on the launch and still haven't played it. Yeah. But I did buy the DLC preemptively because I'm a Fire Emblem shill.
I am not, but
you will be.
I'll suffer alongside your joy.
Oh, you will be.
All right. Emerson. Wow.
Okay.
There's a lot of PS4s in the world.
There's a whole lot of PS4s, and the only person who does not have one is you. The PS4 has passed the Wii, shut up. The PS4 has passed the Wii and PS1 to become the second best-selling console ever, only behind the PS2. The PS4 is currently sitting at 102.8 million consoles sold.
What does the 0.8 stand for?
800,000.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That wasn't a
silly boy.
Joke. Right.
It wasn't even a joke.
Okay, I'm the joke. I think I'm the clown.
The $102.8 million for or 108.2 million consoles for PS4 compared to 102.49 for PS1, 101.63 for the Wii. The Wii has been passed by the PS4. I never thought that would happen, but the PS4 has stuck it out this generation. It kicked Microsoft to the curb. And now it's pulling it in as it's on its last lifeline, its last heartbeat, making it through until next Christmas when its salvation comes in the form of a PS5.
I'd rather buy an Etch-a-Sketch than an Xbox One.
Aren't they the same thing?
Pretty much. I mean, they're just as...
Except one spies on you.
Just as many things. Yeah, one of them spies.
But it's not Xi Jinping spying on you. We need to clarify.
All right.
As we were paid to say.
I did want to say something about these sales numbers. Everyone remembers the Wii. God, we're getting
rest in peace.
Everyone remembers the Wii, and everyone, you still go to like your grandma's house, and she has a Wii rotting on her shelf, but you don't go to grandma's house and have a PS4 rotting.
Because she's not modern day gaming woke.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: like the Wii had such an interesting family appeal,
and that's PS4, it's surprising it's this high.
Let me finish.
Be more aggressive next time.
The Wii had such a casual appeal, and so you'd see one in like every home. Just that even if they played it for 30 minutes and then put it on the shelf, you saw one in every home. Well, I mean, we're looking now that there's so many PS4s, but like it's not in the same kind of common vein as a Wii. At least,
I think gaming has just blown up. Although I will say that PS2 will never be touched because the PS2 was sold as a DVD player for a lot of people, on top of being a gaming system. So that's why it sold so much. Because you could buy it just for DVDs at a comparable price to a DVD player.
Because what was it, like $148 for the PS2?
Something like that, but it's ridiculous how much the PS2 sold.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
And that will never be touched.
Oh, 155. Greater than 155. They just kind of stopped counting. Okay. But yeah, moving on. So the Nintendo did a sales briefing last week, and well, guess what, Emerson? The Switch Lite and all the other Switches are selling pretty good.
You're welcome, Nintendo.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, thanks, Nintendo. So 43% of the Lite sales are to people who already own a Switch. This isn't very surprising to me. I'm still one of the people who want a Switch Lite.
Yes.
Would purchase a Switch Lite, even though I own the current Switch.
The reason being, the Switch is portable, but it's not that portable.
It's not that. No, like, okay, this like, I have no faith in like the reliability of the Joy-Cons.
Only faith in China.
No, shut up. So I was walking downstairs with my Switch. I live in a townhome and at college. And I put my original gray Joy-Cons that came with it on my Switch. I was walking downstairs holding it in my left hand, and it was upside down. As I was walking down the stairs, one of the Joy-Cons, I think it was the left one, just slipped off of the console and fell down the stairs. I was like, good Lord. And I haven't even roughed up the console. Like, I've taken it a lot of places, but I haven't done anything where I'm like slamming it around.
Yeah.
It just...
my console has sat in the dock. Basically, apart from like going away on a weekend stay somewhere.
Yeah, I would kill for an actual updated Switch, like a Pro or something.
But here's the question: would you kill Epstein?
No, but Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. I have to reiterate that.
It depends on the definition of suicide.
Right, let me. I saw that article. That was funny. So and then let's back to the Nintendo Switch sales briefing because we are a gaming podcast and not a Jeffrey Epstein podcast. So Mario Kart Wii.
You want to change that?
Yes. Shut up. Okay, the joke's going too far. The Mario Kart Wii. Yes, you heard me. Mario Kart Wii. As in the one for the Wii.
With Maple Tree Way.
Another 43,000 units in the past 6 months. So it went from 37.2 million to 37.24 million. This is yikes. That's a lot of units. For a game that came out, I think, in 2007, 2008.
It's the best one.
It is one of the best ones. It's the weirdest looking one, but it's definitely one of the best.
Maple Tree Way is the best.
I'm just surprised that like they're still producing copies of the game. I thought that Just Dance was like the final like Wii game.
Oh, I don't know. These are just shelved somewhere. I don't know how they there's new copies being
Who has just
produced.
43,000 used?
I don't know.
That's super weird. And then continuing on the sales briefing, Fire Emblem Three Houses has had the best sales for a modern Fire Emblem in the first 13 weeks, especially in North America.
And as your native Fire Emblem shill, that is definitely impressive because Fates was 3 games, and this outsold them all.
I think I'm going to attribute this, 1, to just a good game.
Yeah.
Three Houses is supposed to be a fantastic game, but 2, also how much the popularity of the series has increased over the past.
Thank you, Smash Brothers.
Thank you. No, exactly. I think Smash really has increased the popularity as well as the mobile app.
Heroes is honestly the biggest thing here because Smash is what got Ike. It sold all 2 of the Radiant Dawn copies when it came out back in the day. Was Ike from Smash. That being said, Heroes being as big as it is now, I think that honestly helped a lot because I don't know what changed from 3S having a bigger install base and Fates having 3 titles being outsold by the Switch game, which is more expensive. It's quality for one, but I think it's just going to be an overall general interest in FE increasing.
Yeah, I think it's just the series is thriving.
It's finally hit the mainstream.
It's in its golden age, I'd say.
Yes.
And so another thing in this sales briefing is that first party sales are up 53% from the same period last year. If I was an investor in Nintendo, I'd be very happy right now. I'd be very, very happy through now. But there's a couple other points in there, but that's some of the big takeaways from the Switch sales briefing. So hopefully that is informing or interesting.
Suit with the Switch sales, the Switch family has passed 41 million units worldwide, and that does include the Lite.
That's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive.
That is pretty impressive. And I did a little bit of research on this, and I actually took the PS4 since it just hit its record number. In the same time period, so the PS4 released in November of 2013. So 31 months later, I believe that was, I should have written that down, but I believe that was in March of 2016. Yes. So in 31 months, it was able to sell about 41 million units. Well, the Switch in the same amount of time, so from March 2017 to now, has sold 41 million units. So it's very much in line with the Switch is very much in line with the sales numbers of the PS4.
I think the Switch can pass it, but one thing to remember with the PS4, there's two factors here. One, the PS4 had the slim deal for like $150 for Black Friday, and that was big. But two, the thing is the Switch family is probably going to last longer. I think overall the Switch can outsell and pass the PS4 to be the number 2 worldwide console.
Oh, I think definitely, especially with the Switch Lite.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to carry it most of all.
Yeah, I think the Lite's going to really help. I think even getting to a Pro, if that's part of the same family, I think we'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
that's going to just boost this number. People are going to trade in their Switch for the Pro, get $100 down or whatever it's going to be, $150, maybe $200. And this is going to go, I think it's going to go really well going into the all-time, because the Switch is going to have legs, unlike the Wii U, where it basically just collapsed on itself within the first 2 months. I think we're going to see the Switch last for a long time.
No, definitely. I completely agree. And I think, I feel like the Switch Pro discussion is kind of beating a dead horse, but
free marketing.
But on that topic, I think that a Switch Pro device will be very much backwards compatible and part of the Switch family per se.
Yeah, I think it'll be like basically like the new 3DS XL, where it's like the new 3DS will work with old games, but that's games that can only run on this thing, like Xenoblade, because this is a powerhouse console.
Yeah. So I definitely think that it's going to be, because I think they really need to stick with what they have.
Yes.
And as far as business goes, there's no reason for them.
It would make no sense to change consoles now, especially when they have their biggest winner in recent history blowing out sales with the Switch, as the Switch is doing currently, and thinking, all right, time to move on.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see an actual iterative version of the Switch for another 2 years.
But speaking of things that won't go away, Pokemon. So 3DS franchise. So, well, with the expected monstrous sales of Sword and Shield, there's been an interview with, I can't remember his name, but there's been an interview, what was it? I think
I'm pulling it up.
Okay, Furukawa. I didn't want to mispronounce it. It was Furukawa, Nintendo chief, who said the company will start working on moving more 3DS franchises over to the Switch to convey the appeal of the Lite.
Oh boy, what games are they going to port, Emerson?
Well, sorry, Spawn Wave, they're not porting games. They said they're going to make more franchises available on the Switch. Does not mean port. If you're going to port a 2-screen game onto a 1-screen without remaking it, I think they're going to make successors and sequels to 3DS games, but they have never said the word port. So it is not going to be a port, more likely. For most games are probably going to have a successor or a sequel, especially how this question was directed at Sword and Shield.
It specifically talks about the quote. It specifically talks about franchises.
Yes,
and that's open to interpretation. Of course, they could go into the back catalog and potentially port some 3DS games to the Switch.
I think it'd be very hard to port a 2-screen game onto a 1.
No, not necessarily. We saw Yokai Watch get ported to the Switch, as well as I think to the PS4 as well. It just takes some rearranging.
Yeah.
What's that one DS game that got ported to the Switch?
Oh,
I can't remember the name. It was actually a pretty crummy port. You had to use a pointer to act as like touch controls. God, I can't remember the name. That's gonna drive me crazy. But there have been some 3DS and even DS.
So now the question comes into what franchises do you think will be ported over? Because I don't see Kid Icarus coming over because Uprising did not sell. On top,
No. If the series ever continues, it's gonna be.
Well, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's gonna happen because the series has never sold well.
Yeah, I'd have to look at
the Uprising was a good game, and it didn't sell on a massive install base system. For sure we're going to see Metroid Prime, but I think we're going to see Metroid like main series side-scroller eventually, because that's much easier to produce than it would be a Prime game. But I don't know what else we're going to see like franchise-wise coming over. FE's already happened. A lot of the main series have already happened.
Chibi Robo. That's a mobile series now. No, Chibi Robo, bro. That's a mobile series now.
I guess, yeah. It's been buried in the past.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned Kirby there. Yeah, Kirby games have been on primarily on the 3DS.
Yeah, Kirby kind of had a Switch game. Well, it had one half of the Switch game.
What was it? What was it called? Star Allies. Yeah. See, I can't even. I purchased the game. I spent $60 on that shiny turd. Sorry for any Kirby fans out there, but that was one of the least fun games I played of. Was it 2017, 2018?
I don't know. 2018. It's so forgettable. Who knows?
2018. Yeah, who knows? All right, moving on. Oh
yes.
This one's up your
alley. This is right up my alley.
It's not up my alley.
So how about you lead us into it, and I'll cut you off when I feel like it.
Okay. God, that's making me nervous. So, Capcom
has assured us that the Mega Man movie is still in production. So, okay, this is something that I have been mixed on. There were reports saying that the Mega Man live-action film had been canceled or shelved permanently, but the Japanese publishers recently said it is still looking into the live-action Mega Man movie. And they mentioned the Blue Bomber in the article, which seems like it's going to be Mega Man, like Rockman Mega Man. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea for live action, because Rockman's 10.
Wait. Hey, name a video game movie that's been good for live action.
Tomb Raider.
Okay, I take that back.
The one option I had.
Name one other than
Detective Pikachu. That was pretty solid.
Dang it. Okay, name other than those two. No.
The Super Mario movie.
Oh, God, I can't wait.
No, so honestly, I think animation would be great. I would much rather see a Mega Man EXE, where it's like LAN and Mega Man EXE, the live action and animated things put together with the cyberspace port of that. I think it'd be cool to have the live action crossing over with animation that way. But there's no way you can make 10-year-old Rockman look either threatening or not creepy live action. It's either going to be a kid or it's going to be a man. Either way, it looks strange. So I'm up to see their sketch on this, to see what their like current take on live action Mega Man is going to look like. But I don't see with X you can do, because X is kind of more of a teenage character. Zero's teenage character. EXE would work because they're all actually kids. But I think with Rockman is the hardest one to adapt, maybe other than Star Force or a live action series, just due to the fact that Rockman's supposed to look young. But having a young little boy going around blowing up monsters just seems strange.
Speaking of monsters, in the financial report where Capcom said that they're continuing this movie, they also mentioned that they're working, or they have plans for.
That segue was beautiful.
Yeah, I've been working on it, dude.
So to be fair, I don't know Monster Hunter that well. I have a friend who's very into it. I'm not. I think that'll be a much easier translation from small to big screen.
Wait, let me stop you. What if the movie is just them fighting one monster for the entire movie?
It's them grinding before
Monster
the fight.
Hunter. Yeah, it's just like real Monster Hunter. You spend like 30 minutes fighting every.
Well, see, I think you could do like a small scale. This monster killed my family, or whatever, and they have just like a very small scale world. You keep it.
What a dumb plot.
You have like some of the villages you go to, some of the little civilizations. You got your couple characters who go on a quest to find some monster to tame or to kill for various purpose. It's a very simple story you can get into. It's very easy. You have your monster buddies, and you kill some of the monsters. You make better weapons. It's very doable, and honestly, I think that'd be one of I'm honestly more into that type of Mega Man idea.
Open to interpretation.
Yes, because
all they have to do is take the world, and
that's why Mega Man has been so formulaic for the last 30 years. I don't know how you do Mega Man as a movie when it's always been a kind of a non-linear pick your path, but also too, it's very Mega Man it's there for the challenge, and no one loves the characters, at least with Rockman.
Hey, I just want this movie to be challenging to watch.
Yes. Well, knowing
if they do that and they achieve their goal,
it's going to happen. But I don't know if you're going to do Mega Man. I don't know why you do Rockman. I guess it's the most recognizable, but Rockman is the hardest to translate, I think, other than Star Force. I'm very cautiously curious because this is either going to be an absolute disaster. No, it's going to be an absolute disaster. But I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster.
I could bring myself to say this could be good because it could be, but I don't know how you do this well. If they do, I will be very impressed.
I won't be impressed regardless.
Speaking of you being impressed.
Oh boy, I'm so impressed by guess who?
Xi Jinping?
Modern Warfare.
You think guess who? Not guess what.
Guess what? Yeah. So some interesting reports on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So it sold over, or it made in revenue $600 million in the first 3 days, which is bananas.
Sorry, Avengers.
Divided by 60, that's like 100 million freaking. God, that's so much money. Anyway,
why divide by 60? What's it do with anything?
Like, wait.
Maybe 10 million.
Okay. Wait, 60. I can't do math.
No, why divide by 60?
One game is $60.
It's $200 million per day average. Okay. I don't know why you divided that by 60.
Thinking like because each unit is $60.
Oh, so that's 10 million without like taking no tax or varying prices across overseas or whatever.
I was just saying how many. Hold on, I'm gonna do the math real quick.
600 million divided by 60.
So it's 10 million copies. It's 10 million copies. I'll have to check. Yeah, I'll have to check and see if that's what the actual sales numbers are. But as far as revenue, that's what's reported.
Go back to business calc.
Well, see, this is why I'm not an accounting major like I thought I was going to be. I jumped that boat, and now I'm doing technology. But yeah, so this is the top-selling new AAA premium game of 2019. It's the best-selling digital opening in Activision's history.
These sales are absurd.
Awesome. It's insane. It set the PS4 record with the highest digital sales in the first 3 days. Man, it's the first or most Call of Duty units sold in the first 3 days. Like, that's crazy. That's really crazy. It's also the biggest PC launch for COD ever. That makes a whole lot of sense because one, it's a new engine, and two, they promised very to deliver highly on the PC port. And it's an okay port. It's definitely better than all the other Call of Duties on PC, but it still has its fair share of issues, which I don't really want to.
All you need to do is be ahead of the bell curve of Call of Duty. As long as you're better than the average, you're fine.
Yeah, but still, I mean, this is really impressive, and I've been really. I know a lot of people haven't, and next thing we're gonna get into is the review bombing. But part of a lot of the reviews I've seen and my own critique of the game are some of the multiplayer maps. They feel like they encourage camping. I think really people are trying to play the game in a way that it's not meant to be played. You're supposed to play it more methodical. So instead of sprinting through rooms, you're clearing the rooms, and rather than like sliding and shooting, you're supposed to be very methodical in your shots and where you're placing yourself and positioning. So I think people's criticisms of the game for that, as far as like camping and the maps being bad, I think it's somewhat justified. But we're seeing this huge review bombing. It will. I think people just aren't used to how the game is supposed to be played. And this isn't coming from the outside. Have less brackets to kind of play it in, and I'm coming more with an open mind, I think. But I want to get into, I mentioned the reviews there, and a lot of like the legitimate reviews have mentioned, this multiplayer map problem, but there's a big review bombing on Metacritic right now because a lot of people are saying that the game, primarily the campaign, is spreading a heavy amount of anti-Russian sentiment. Well, there is some truth to this, and there's some fabrication to this, or at least some ignorance and people claiming this. So as far as anti-Russian propaganda goes, the main enemy, and we're going to sort of delve into spoiler territory here, not too much. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, if you're upset by Call of Duty being spoiled, then, I mean, that compelling of a story anyway. It's good. It's not that great. Anyway, most of the people that you're fighting, the Russians, it's Russians under the command of a corrupt Russian general.
A rogue Russian general.
Not even necessarily rogue. Well, actually, yeah, he kind of does go.
It's not just bad Russian man. It's this guy he's going against the will of the Russian government.
And well, that's not super explicit till kind of the end, but one of the main characters who's a Russian who appears towards the end of the game, he's asked why he's helping the Western forces stop this Russian general Barkov, and he says Barkov is a stain on my country and he needs to go. And so it's at that point it's pretty clear that it's talking about Barkov and his men, not the whole Russian army. Yes, there is the quote of Farah, one of the main protagonists, saying that she can't differentiate between terrorists and the Russian army. Well, again, if you take that quote within the context of the rest of the game, she means Barkov and his men. That's the target. It's always talking about Barkov and his men.
Yeah.
So I think that some of the criticism there towards Activision saying that that Activision's being anti-Russian is, it's not necessarily fair. Up until a point.
Yeah, I think you're about to touch on that point. The worst you can say for the anti-Russian sentiment would be very poor historical vetting. Yes. Can you remember the name? It slipped my mind right now.
It's the Valley of
Death. That's the Valley of Death. I keep wanting to say Hammer, but I don't know why. The Valley of Death. It's a historical event, and they peg it on the Russians, even though it was, I believe, U.S., Canada, France, and UK.
Highway of Death.
Highway of Death. That's what it was. Okay, Highway of Death. Yeah. And the game pins on Russians, even though it was not a Russian event. So I think the big thing here, if you're going to use a historical event, you need to be accurate. And of course, unless your game is based upon a differing history, like a timeline split. But if you're going to use this as a backdrop to your story, just make up your own event.
Yeah, make up your own event.
Just say 4 months prior to this thing, the evil Russian rogue group did this thing. And then at that point, if it's all fictional, I think that's a much safer bet than running to say, well, we're going to tie this historical thing into our fictional story, because then you're risking someone getting offended, and this whole thing because they completely
it's not even offended. It's just not even offended. It's just irresponsible on Activision's
because they completely misused it.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I came into this game, and a lot of other people. I talked with some of my roommates about this to kind of get their point of view, and they're not huge gamers, but they like Call of Duty, and they told me oh yeah, I've been playing the campaign. I just figured it was all fake. And so, most people do assume that, all the events in there are fictional, which pretty much
even if you think they're not.
Even still, it's not responsible on Activision's part to take a real life event like that.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I do think I think most people will tend to think okay, we know this is a video game, whether that happened or not. This was a while ago. I don't think anyone's going to have their mind swayed about someone else due to a video game. Okay, let's say it was true. Well, back in the day, Russia did this. You think someone playing the game's I'm going to go, I hate the Russians now. I think everyone is playing the game for the entertainment value and the history behind some events. I don't think many people care about that. That being said, if you're going to use a historical event, you need to be accurate. If you don't want to risk this, just make your own fake event that the bad guys did 4 months prior to the game, or whatever it would be. 10 years prior to the game, do you dodge all the bullets that way?
I'm sure Activision has definitely learned their lesson in that regard. But I also hope that that doesn't scare them, or just the backlash in general doesn't scare them from, kind of pushing the line with the story. Because there are some really cool
do
moments.
Enjoy them making a story that's uncomfortable in modern day.
It is a good story,
but I'd much rather that than them we're going to do a safe route of World War II, Nazis bad.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the strength in the story is that there's a lot of moral kind of gray areas.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much, I'd say, as they kind of promised before the game started. But one of my favorite quotes from the game, and this isn't really a huge spoiler, but Captain Price says, "It's we get dirty so the world can stay clean." And I don't know, it's pretty compelling. But yeah, let's get some historical accuracy in there if we're gonna reference that. But
speaking of moral gray, Mario Kart Tour.
Oh boy, I love mobile games.
So Mario Kart Tour is getting a multiplayer beta for the Gold Pass subscribers only.
Wait, it's not already multiplayer? Wait, I thought it was multiplayer.
It takes names from everyone else and pops them in your game, but you're not actually live with them. So if I thought
I was really good.
Yes, I thought it was amazing, and they had no latency on their online play. Well, if you are a Gold Pass subscriber,
I could pause online.
All 4 of you guys can and will probably rub it in your friend's face that you are now committing online. You're now playing online beta with Mario Kart Tour.
Wait, can I correct your statement? If you have the Mario Kart Gold Pass, you don't have friends.
That is true. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're going online to meet your friends. I will amend my previous statement. If you have the Mario Kart Gold Pass, you can rub it into all the people online who are your quote-unquote friends on Facebook that you have this and they don't. That being said, this is something that no one should be jealous of because it's Mario Kart Tour. But I do think the multiplayer will eventually go to everyone. I don't see it being a Gold Pass only thing, although this could be like an incentive to go get it early and brag to all your Facebook friends or all your tweeters. Go show them how cool you are that you can play online with Mario Kart Tour.
I'm going to offer a counter opinion.
Yes.
I hope it does stay on the Gold
Just
Pass
so no one buys it?
subscription. Well, no, not that. I think the Gold Pass subscription already has no value to it.
Yeah.
I think that this would be a way to add value to the game.
Yes.
Again, if you're downloading a free app, you're not entitled to any of the services in there.
I can see that.
I think it would be good.
I can see that.
I think that would actually be the best thing to do.
Though I do have to the counterpoint of so far no one found enough value to actually purchase anything in the game due to their terrible numbers for in-game purchases. People don't find value in there generally. Speaking of not finding value in something you paid for, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night for Switch has finally released patch 1.03, which has fixed the graphics, fixed a lot of the latency, decreased load times by 70%, and
70%.
Yes, and patched out some crashes. And then they even promised there is more to come in 1.04. I was actually going to buy the Switch port regardless, but because of all the negative press, I bought the PS4 version. Although it's really nice to see the Switch version is now probably worth the price.
I was going to mention this. Patrick, he bought it whenever it came out on the Switch immediately, and I told him, I'm not even going to touch that till they fix the game.
Yeah. I was going to buy it opening day, not even kidding. I was hyped for it, and then I saw all this stuff as some side effects of the PS4. I figured, you know what, I've got a PS4. Why would I was like, if I can sit down and play it, I'd rather do that than have to take this portably and suffer through all the stuff. When I had to blow up on my monitor with my PS4 and have a much better experience.
Yeah, because some of the load times looked pretty ridiculous.
The 70% decrease is actually, that's insane.
They must have had to really rework.
They've been on this since it launched. And so even now,
props to them. Seriously, props
especially
to them.
Props to saying we're not even done yet. We got another update coming 1.04 coming soon. Or I guess they didn't have much of this said soon, but coming out later, which is going to make it even better. Which is they've already upped the graphics, they've already made it more stable, better loading times, less latency, and fixed crashes. For them to say even more coming, that's more than they had to do.
That's dedication to their game and to the people who support it.
Especially with the whole murky path of it getting to launch. This is awesome dedication.
Yeah.
Speaking of murky path to launch, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Wait, can I comment on? Okay, so your transitions have been so much better than mine, but we've both been on fire.
Yeah,
I will say that.
We're both.
All right.
Okay, so first off, good thing. Toby Fox has composed a song for Sword and Shield. I believe he posted it online. I think it's a battle song.
There was I listened to that.
It's really good. It's good.
It sounds like Toby Fox.
It does. It's a great amalgamation of the two. It's a great merger, and also it's got some good energy to it, I guess is the way to put it. And now for the bad. Some of the rumored Dex cuts. So there's been a lot of leaks recently, some true, some not. I'm going to steer clear of a lot of the spoilers and the new forms, new evolutions. I'm going to steer clear of all of that. And just say that Nintendo is really bad at, or at least Game Freak is really bad at dodging bullets. So some of the new evolutions and forms are actually pretty solid, and they make old Pokemon that never had any value or use good. Like they've evolved. For example, Corsola seems to have got a new form and be evolved when it's been a staple of Generation 3, and it's done nothing ever since Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald launched on the Game Boy Advance. And now it actually appears to have a new form, a new evolution, which will make it actually worth something. But then the big thing is their whole spiel of, well, we're gonna Pokemon that couldn't naturally be found here will not be in the game. It seems to have been voided by the Kanto supremacy clause. If you're from Kanto, well, I'm sorry, you're grandfathered in. So it appears that the Kanto starter Pokemon are all in the game, and every starter from Generation 2 onwards have been cut. So your Bulbasaur, your Squirtle, and Charmander are all there, and every starter other than those 3 are gone.
Is Pikachu in the game?
Yes, Pikachu's in the game. He can go really big.
Oh, boy.
The big monster!
The thick boy. All right, and for our final story this week, no transition there. It's just
a hard cut.
Pokemon. Just a hard freaking
We actually cut 2 minutes out there and you'll never know about it.
Oh, yeah, you'll never know about it.
the lost minutes.
BlizzCon was this weekend. So 4 big announcements. We had World of Warcraft Shadowlands. That's a new expansion for World of Warcraft. I don't really care.
I don't care either.
Another one I don't care about, Hearthstone Descent of Dragons update. It's coming with a new auto chess style game. So for people who like auto chess, which is not me,
go nuts.
Go nuts, buddy. But auto chess is actually a very popular genre right now, in case you didn't know, Emerson. If you ask me to describe what it is, well, I don't know.
It's very popular. I still probably can't even describe how popular it is, or even what it is.
Videos about it, but I don't really care.
Speaking of, I'm kidding.
Actually, I kind of care about this. Yeah. So Diablo 4 is, it was announced, and they showed off some gameplay as well as a cinematic trailer. It's a real sequel to Diablo 3. It's not a mobile game. There's no offline mode that's going to be in it, interestingly. And it won't be releasing for a while. They basically implied that it's in early development right now. But even so, it looks like a pretty nice game.
Though, to be fair, the big mishap with this came when they said, what, do you guys not have consoles?
That's a good one. I like that. And this is kind of weird. So Overwatch 2 was announced officially. We all knew it was coming through the leaks and everything that's posted on Twitter. But it's basically the same game. It's confirmed that it's on the same engine.
Because why not? It's cheap to develop.
It's quote unquote an improved version of the engine. So probably just new lighting and some efficiency updates. But new maps, new heroes, new competitive PvP mode called Push, where it's like the current game or the current main competitive mode, the payload thing. But instead, there's a big robot that pushes a big block. And each team, depending on how much the team is congesting the push point, can turn the robot in their favor. So it's literally a game where each team is trying to push the same thing back to each other's goal. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it actually looks pretty fun. There's some gameplay out of people at the event playing it. It looks fun. Pretty much the only difference as far as gameplay goes is nothing.
It's new maps and heroes. Although
new maps,
this is basically what Smash Ultimate updated and added home run contest. It's basically that.
Pretty much. So I didn't mention, but there's new co-op missions, like story-based co-op missions and hero missions, all focused on story. Cool, but it looks and
people
even
care
on
about
paper.
The story?
Yeah, people actually do care about that.
There's a good lore, but I think people don't play it for the story.
It's just kind of there, I guess. But it's, I don't know. It's just, okay. Everyone's asking, this looks like Overwatch DLC. Why isn't it just Overwatch DLC rather than a new game called Overwatch 2? Well, I think from a business standpoint, this makes sense as far as marketing.
You can sell a whole new game.
You can sell a whole new game, and it's, Overwatch 2 sounds so much better than just a big Overwatch update.
Yeah.
It's something that seems new, even though it's pretty much the same game on the same engine. And something else I didn't mention is it has shared multiplayer with the first game. So people like me who own the original Overwatch will be able to play multiplayer with people playing Overwatch 2. and I have access to all the new heroes and the new maps. So what's the point? Why should I buy this if I don't care about
So will you have access to all of it, or will it be kind of like DS download play Mario Kart, where you can play a Shy Guy?
That wasn't clarified. That wasn't clarified. It seems
it's gotta
as though
be like
it's all.
that.
It seems as though pretty much. No. Like, I have access to all the new heroes and all the new maps while I play with. Oh, are you saying like if you're only playing with Overwatch 2 people? Or if it's
so what I'm saying is, if you're on Overwatch 1 and your friend has 2 and you connect, will you be limited to some of the stuff kind of like in Mario Kart?
No. You have access to everything because it is a competitive game, so they put you on the same competitive level as far as PvP modes.
So I just you can either buy a new game or update your old one and have the exact same effect minus the extra story modes.
It just depends on what you want. Yeah, if you want the story mode and with the co-op missions and all that, which they claim are very highly replayable, and I'm sure they are. Mm-hmm. They look pretty fun, but I wouldn't spend more than probably $20.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think this would warrant a full price game? Overwatch 2, if it launches at $30, that might be a big seller.
Big fat no. I would not spend more than $20 on this game. God, that's kind of even pushing it. This looks like a $15 expansion. Not to completely dump on Blizzard's work here, because I'm sure they've worked.
Well, the thing for me is I don't have Overwatch. I've played with some friends several times, but I don't know if this comes out. If this was a $20 game, I might be into that. But I don't know if I would go buy it cheap on Steam and play that instead. The first one, that is.
Battle.net, you ignorant scum.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I have told you. You've even mentioned it. I have a gaming PC, but I play consoles. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm still my Wii is on my desk.
The essence of privilege. All right, let's move to our press wise for this week. That kind of concludes all of our stories.
Yes.
God, do you have a press wire? Or do you need me to?
I do have one. Do you want me to lead it?
Actually, did you lead it last week? I can't remember.
I did Xenoblade last week. I think I ended it because I remember I went through my whole spiel about games I'm playing.
You go ahead and lead it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So currently I'm finishing up both Skyward Sword, which I'm going to get to pretty soon, and Metroid Samus Returns. But I will say I will press Y for exploration, because Metroid Samus Returns is honestly it kept the whole like GBA version, like, okay, you're kind of stuck in this area. Where do you go? Well, turns out this wall, it looks like all the other walls can be blown up. But they added a feature. If you want to, you can spam this feature. It'll show you destructible walls. But if you want to play it, I'm playing where I'm not using that feature. I'm using it to where I'm going to go around and blow everything up as far as I can, to shoot the wall, see what blows up. And honestly, kind of figuring out these puzzles that things are explodable, whatever else, finding the way through this maze has been a lot of fun. I really am enjoying Samus Returns for 3DS. And I do recommend it. It really is like, again, a Mega Man X style, like 2D side scroller, but with a full range of motion for your cannon. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the exploration. I'm enjoying some of the battles, and it's actually really challenging. And so it's been a nice change of pace from the 3D exploring Prime games. And I think I still prefer Other M to this. Although this has been a great thing to do every now and then, like half an hour here, half an hour there. And I think I'm only about a fifth way through, but I'm definitely enjoying the game.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I just want to get off ukulele. I want to play Luigi's Mansion so bad. So this week, my press Y is going to be a little different. This is actually something I press Y for, but press Y to get away from, because I hate it. So this weekend Communism. I went to...
No,
yeah, pretty much. Jeffrey Epstein.
I wasn't going to say it. I had that thought cross my mind, and I said to myself, no, I'm not going to say that. Because you told me we took the joke too far.
We did, but he did, in fact, not kill himself. So this week,
press Y for hanging.
Anti-pressing Y, or just, pressing Y can be general. I'm pressing Y for something I don't like, and that is just, oh God, how do I even open this up?
You're changing the rules on me now.
Let's go with the story. I am changing the rule. I'm bending the rules a little bit here. So this weekend I went to Video Games Live. It's a concert done by Tommy Tallarico. Tallarico. I just Googled that to make sure I had it right. So Tommy Tallarico, he's a musical game composer. He's been doing this for so long. He's done like over 300 different games. So he's an industry legend. But he does this touring show called Video Games Live, where he gets the local orchestra. So in this case, I was in Fort Worth and saw the Fort Worth Orchestra as well as the Fort Worth Choir performing. And then there's another composer there, or I'm sorry, he's a composer, but he was the conductor for the orchestra as well. And they just run through video game music, like different pieces from different games. So we had stuff from Metroid, stuff from Okami, stuff from Undertale, Shadow of the Colossus, Earthworm Jim. There's a lot of great pieces in there, and it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. But what I'm not pressing Y for is the way the event was set up was super strange. All right, so you go in and there's people cosplaying and all that, which it's a gaming thing, so you kind of expect that. But what I hated about it is Tommy would constantly go on stage and play his guitar, his electric guitar, with the rest of the orchestra, which is, that's fine, but there wasn't a good place for him to stand. And so he'd be moving throughout the stage, and then he'd be jumping around like it's a rock concert. And it distracted from the actual music itself. And he encouraged the audience. He's like, this isn't like a normal orchestra you go to, or orchestra performance you go to. If you see something on screen, that's something else I didn't mention, was while they play, there's images and videos from the games themselves playing. So like during Super Mario, there's stuff from Mario Sunshine, from Super Mario Bros, all that. But he said, if you see something on screen that inspires you, or a character you love or something, then yell and make whatever noise you want at any point during the concert. Well, that sucks. Like, he wants video games to be seen as a legitimate form of art, especially the video game music. Well, if you're sitting there and hollering during the art and you don't get to experience it, I'm talking as someone from putting myself in the shoes of an outsider.
Yeah.
You're turned off by it in a way. Like so the entire time the people behind me were talking, and thankfully we were close enough and the music was loud enough that it somewhat drowned it out, but I'd always hear them talking.
Yeah.
And then I think the worst example of the crowd reacting was they did the main trailer theme from Skyrim, or just the main theme, I guess. And at the very end, people started cheering and going crazy, and then everyone else did right before it ended. And so you didn't get to hear the dramatic ending to the song.
Ooh.
Or to the piece, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, cool, gamer culture, whatever, like, we can be hype, cool. But at the same time, like, it just kind of poops on the art, in my opinion. And so I really, I was even thinking about doing a review of video games live on Press Y Media, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't want to take the time to really do that. But that's why I'm kind of getting my thoughts out here. But it was just really disappointing. I mean, the music was great, but Tommy kind of showboating with the whole guitar thing, as well as some other comments and the way he was acting on stage. It was just inappropriate. And then the crowd was just awful. It was like they were there just because it said gaming in it, rather than just to appreciate the art. Even though maybe they were in that mindset, maybe they were just appreciating the art and that's how they do it. And maybe I have something backwards. I don't know.
I'm of two minds when it comes to this. I think so. There's been like the videos of people when they all sing together, the Pokemon theme song at some sort of concert. That's awesome. But I do think, okay, for the piece, you play the piece and you can show your enjoyment and whatever feeling you have for it after the piece. Because the art should stand on its own. It does not need you to give your experience while you're experiencing it. Kind of with a film. You're never going to shout and jeer during the film over dialogue.
Right. At least you should.
You should, unless you're some sort of nutbag.
And I think it's important to point out here that this is more like this is stuff I don't like, but also it's kind of a critique of Tommy's philosophy towards the video games and how he wants it to be legitimate. But I think this is kind of video games be seen as legitimate art. But I think for an outsider that might have been at that concert, I feel like they'd come away with kind of a bad taste in their mouth, thinking, wow, these guys are really immature. They can't, appreciate art for what it is.
Yeah.
But I went with my dad because I wanted him to hear some of the music, and he was blown away. He was just as peeved as I was. I mean, he's super into the arts, but he was just as peeved as I was about the way people were acting.
Yeah.
But, it's still a cool show. And I'm going to comment one more thing just because we need to wrap up here. But also, like, the footage that they'd show from the games was super weird. It was all in like the lowest resolution that could be possible. Even like games like that were recorded on the Super Nintendo, like footage that was recorded from a Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64 or PS1, a lot of it was like blue. It tinted blue. They didn't even correct the color from the screen cap that they got. It was super weird. During the Phoenix Wright piece that they did, which was pretty good, they literally showed, as part of the music video playing in the background, they literally showed a mod of Brawl, like Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where they added Phoenix Wright in on top of Ganondorf.
That's strange.
It was just weird. It was weird. Yeah. It was really weird. It was just like Tommy at home with Windows Movie Maker on his computer running Windows 99. And it's just, yeah,
I think too, especially because the art is the audio, you do not need to disrupt the audio. I get if it's like if you have like something visually going on, but I think when you're coming for the sound, you don't overshadow the art with your experience.
Yeah, and I'll tell you about another like just awful thing they did too off camera, but or off recording. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Press Y podcast.
Press Y for negativity.
Good Lord. Press Y for
I didn't know I could do that. I would have shared all my dark angriness at you guys.
Yeah, I should have been more creative in that way and said press Y for negativity.
Should we do a press? Yeah, shouldn't Y be positive like press X? Like, or should we do a positive and a negative? Yeah, press B.
Press home button, then X.
Control Alt Delete for that concert.
Throw my Switch across the room. Don't press any buttons.
Only my left Joy-Con when it falls off down the stairs.
Unintentionally. But man, we've been hitting these 50-minute marks pretty consistently. And now I got to go edit so we can go play some Smash Bros.
We do.
All right. Again, sorry about this being posted on a Monday.
Press Y for not Terry Bogard.
Cry about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Terry Bogard. No.
We've read the news. We'll do that some other time.
We'll talk about that off camera. Anyway, like, subscribe, share. Shout out to Will Jones. All right. Bye.
And Epstein.
God.